Hello, this is Calvin Idle. Welcome to the Lavender Table, a web-based talk show for and about the LGBT community. And now, let's keep the conversation going with your host, Gary Elgin.
Welcome back to the Lavender Table. I'm sitting with Kat Cooper in Chattanooga, Tennessee, part of our Lavender Table on the Road. Kat, thank you for coming back and speaking with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, by the way. I mean, I tell people that you've joined us, but in reality, you've invited us into your home. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Earlier this year, you made news by addressing the Collegedale City Council and asking adamantly but respectfully for equal benefits for you and your wife, Krista.
Yes.
I'd like to play a little bit of that tape.
For those in the room who do not know me, let me take a brief moment to introduce myself. My name is Kat Cooper, and I'm a police officer with the City of Collegedale. And most recently, I've been accepted into the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's State Investigators Academy. I've sat here with my family by my side, not to be confrontational, but to be the face of a real breathing person that your decision regarding this matter greatly affects. Affecting no other employee's coverage and costing the city no more than the family coverage currently provided to any of my coworkers. I was sworn into a position to protect and serve this community to the best of my ability. So why in the world would I do anything less for my own family? This is not a matter of attacking one's personal beliefs or morals. It is a matter of standing up for the equal treatment of all employees. As many of you in this room are, I am a daughter, I am a sister, an aunt, a wife, a friend, a co-worker, a future mother, and a contributing citizen to our community. The federal government now recognizes our marriage. Every month another state takes measures to ensure the equal treatment of LGBT couples. This is not an issue that will dissipate. It should be of no importance to my employer if my lifelong commitment is made to a man or a woman. Both are equal. I find it reasonable and equitable for this policy to encompass any employee who can legitimately provide formal documentation of the validity and authenticity of their union of marriage with their spouse. Spouse being a man or a woman. There is a time law and policy must be blind to the color of one's skin, religious or political affiliation, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. It is that time. Thank you.
Well, that's what the public saw.
Right.
What possessed you?
Well, it is definitely something that I had done prior. I had went to the city back in 2006 and addressed it then, and I was quickly denied. At that point, I didn't have quite as much clout with the department. I was still learning the ropes, so I said, okay. A few years later, 2009, I went in and I spoke to HR and I said, I want you to look into this and just see what's available. And she said, okay, I will. I also began, researching it myself, and I knew for a fact that our insurance provider did actually have a plan available for employers to carry offering domestic partner benefits. So I kind of knew going in there when I told her to start looking into it. Then after me and Krista got together, and at the time when we got together, she had insurance through her dad and her parents, because she was still 26 and they can carry on her insurance up to that time. And up to that point, we were kind of under the impression that, you know, they were still going to keep a policy on, or whether that be, you know, we help pay for it or something to that effect. We weren't real sure. But after they found out, just literally within 4 days, you know, they dropped her health insurance, dropped her car insurance, took her car. They'd given all of their children cars, took her car away. You know, and even more devastatingly than that, though, they basically just ended the relationship with her. Her mom actually called her on her birthday and said, you know, your dad knows, and you are considered a death in the family at this point. So at that point, I knew we are on our own. We are fending for ourselves. So, you know, we've had my parents' support, but I'm never, since I moved out at a very young age, I've always been very, very adamant about supporting yourself, taking care of yourself, learning to make ends meet. So I said, we're going to figure this out. So that's what I guess originally prompted me, was to go and just try to get my employer to allow me to add her on. You know, I really honestly did not think it was going to be that big of a deal. Even HR, when I spoke to her, said, oh, you know, this is not that big a deal. Literally, you know, the city manager has to sign a piece of paper saying that we're going to amend the policy. You know, it wasn't anything that had to get to the extent that it was. She made that very clear to me. So I said, okay, well, that didn't seem like a big deal. So I waited for about 2 days, and then I get an email back saying, we're not doing this, basically because, you know, the state does not make us do this. And there's not any other municipality in our area that is doing this, so we're not doing it. And to me, that was not acceptable, because at that point, you know, I took it personally, because I felt like, you know, I'm a good employee here, and I've worked here a long time, and, you know, I have seen other employees when we sign or renew policies, literally just sign a piece of paper and their family's added, no big deal. And then here I was looking at the situation thinking, oh man, you know, this is going to be really hard for us. You know, she has had some medical conditions, and it is very, very nerve-wracking to feel like you're playing Russian roulette literally every month with your spouse's health. You know, trying to decide, well, do we go to the doctor this month over this? Is it really that serious? You know, because you're wanting to save and keep every little bit of money you have. So if you do have a catastrophe, I mean, hazard insurance, $300-something a month, it still doesn't cover everything. You know, so we did the best we could with what we had.
Kat, in the clip that we saw, you stood up and said that you wanted to give the city council a real face, a real human face to the issue.
Right.
Talk to us about that. Why or how did that occur to you?
Because I felt like, you know, those people were almost an extended family. In law enforcement, you get very close to the men you work with. You know, we go out into horrible situations every day, and we have to back each other and make sure that the other one goes home to their family. And, you know, I felt like, you know, I'm very close to you people. You know, I've been up here, I've built a rapport with you. You know, I love my job, you know, and I do. I mean, I put my all into my job and into the families in that community. And I wanted them, as they were sitting there thinking about this, trying to make a decision, I wanted them to see who this was affecting, you know, because I wanted them to understand that they couldn't just write this off and just think, oh, well, this is just gay people. And, you know, a lot of times people have horrible stereotypical images of what they associate with gay people. And I wanted to get away from that. I wanted them to see, you know, I'm Kat. Y'all all know me. You're friends with all of you. I've been out to eat with your families. I've been in your homes. You know, I work side by side with you. And this affects my family. This hurts me and my family. And I wanted to get that across. I wanted when they were sitting up there to look out in that audience and see me and my family who sat beside me through every one of them meetings to know that this wasn't just a faceless group of people they were writing off, that were human beings.
Kat, as part of your presentation that day in front of the City Council, you cautioned and reminded those listening to your comments that this is not going to dissipate.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Well, absolutely, it's not going to dissipate. You know, right now, the largest employer in the United States, the Department of Defense, is now recognizing LGBT families as going to offer domestic partner benefits. Every month, we hear of another state taking measures to protect and treat equally their LGBT, families. So, for them to be under some kind of notion or think they were just going to sweep this under the rug and then, that it not pop up again is ludicrous. I mean, that's not going to happen, especially considering, they're talking about the growth of the city, and even Chattanooga and other municipalities. You're talking about employee retention, keeping employees. You want to look like you're an equal opportunity employer. You want to look like you care about your employees and their families. And the fact of the matter is, the LGBT community, we make a large percentage of employees for employers. And, for them to think we don't is crazy. I mean, we do. We're out there in every capacity, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a police officer, whether it's a teacher, et cetera. We are in the workforce.
But not seen many times. And I think that is the point that you are making
Absolutely.
most clearly. How important do you believe it is for those people in those other vocations to come out?
It is extremely important. If there is anything that I hope I get out of this or encourage, is for other people to stand up and say, I am equal. I'm an equal person, I'm an equal employee, and I deserve the same benefits that any other employee gets. I hope by what I did shows them that they can get up and make a difference. I think so many times, even here in the South, we feel like we're, if you will, David up against Goliath. We're so beaten down, just feeling like there's no hope to this fight, and there is. There is hope. This is not an issue that's attacking religious beliefs. It's not something that, one political party should harp on over another. It's not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. This is an equality issue. This is an equal human issue about all people being equal. And, it's unfortunate that people try to turn it into those issues. But it's not. It's simply not.
There's a great many people within the LGBT community that believe equality does not affect them. How do you respond?
I would like that to be explained to me, how it doesn't affect them. It impacts every element of our life almost, the fact that we were not treated equally. My wife, she's a part-time student, she's working part-time. We're a young couple, I'm a police officer, we're trying to make ends meet. If it wasn't for that, for our extra expenses going through healthcare and other related things in these past few months, she could have been a full-time student this entire time. We have to rearrange literally every aspect of our life due to finances, due to the fact that we weren't getting the same equal health insurance as my other, coworkers. So there's a perfect example on how it does, impact, a lesbian couple or a gay couple.
There are some who may be more economically independent, who might say that, well, if you stay in the closet and don't shake the bushes up, don't rattle the shutters, none of this would have happened.
That's so wrong for so many reasons. Not long ago, black people were expected to sit on the back of buses, and we had slaves. Women weren't allowed to vote. To think that there's people, to me, it's the same thing. I don't go out and feel like I advertise that I'm gay. But if I go out and just live my life like a normal person. For example, me and Krista are at the supermarket, and she has to part ways, and we hug each other bye. There's a demonstration of affection, but it's not that I'm out openly saying, hey, here I am, I'm gay, It's not anything other than a straight man would do with his wife. So to think that, I couldn't live like that and just live normally, that's that's horrible. That's so demoralizing. I think that it has, probably tremendous psychological effects on someone, expecting them to have to hide their identity. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to be shameful of. A lot of people get into this notion that homosexuality or being gay is a choice. And, I didn't choose to be gay any more than someone chose the color of their skin. So to think that I'm supposed to hide the fact that I'm a lesbian or that I'm a gay person, I mean, that's literally asking to me, in the same respect, a black person to paint themselves white or a colored person to paint themselves. It's just not, it's wrong. I mean, it's just wrong.
We'll return with Krista and Kat Cooper here on the Lavender Table. Welcome back to the Lavender Table. We're joined again by Krista and Kat Cooper. Welcome back. Thank you again for inviting us into your home and allowing us to talk about this.
Thank you.
Kat, in the city council meeting, you closed your remarks with a very important statement, I felt. I'd like to read it if you don't mind. You said, "There comes a time when decisions on public policy must be blind to the color of one's skin, religious or political affiliation, gender or sexual orientation."
Yeah.
How do you believe that impacted the decision of the council?
Well, I think that the outcome speaks for itself. They did find that it is that time to not discriminate and to offer equal benefits to people regardless the color of their skin, their gender, their ethnicity, or their sexual orientation. So, I mean...
You seem like a very happy couple, and I am thrilled to have been invited into your home to talk with you, to share these memories of a very historic part of your life, and to learn more about two lovely ladies who have made strides in equality at a time that it's sorely needed.
Yes.
Thank you, and let's keep the conversation going.
Thank you.
Thank you.